好，今天背诵第36课到第1课到这背吧。Lesson 36 Across the Channel. What is Debbie going to try to do? Debbie Hart is going to swim across the English Channel tomorrow. She's going to set out from the French coast at 5 o'clock in the morning. Debbie is only 11 years old and she hopes to set up a new world record. She is a strong swimmer that many people feel that she is sure to succeed. Debbie's father will set out with her in a small boat. Mr. Hart has trained his daughter for years. Tomorrow, he will be watching her anxiously as she swims the long distance to England. Debbie intends to take short rests every 2 hours. She will have something to drink, but she will not eat any solid food. Most of Debbie's school friends will be waiting for her on the English coast. Among them will be Debbie's mother, who swam the channel herself when she was a girl. Lesson 35, 35课 Stop thief. How did Roy stop the thieves? Roy Johnson used to drive a taxi a short while ago. However, he became a bus driver and he has not regretted it. He is finding his new work far more exciting. When he was driving along Catford Street recently, he saw 2 thieves rush out of a shop and run towards a waiting car. One of them was carrying a bag full of money. Roy acted quickly and drove the bus straight at the thieves. The one with the money got such a fright that she dropped the bag. And the thieves were trying to get away in their car. Roy drove the bus into the back of it. While the battered car was moving away, Roy stopped his bus and telephoned the police. The thief's car was badly damaged and easy to recognize. Shortly afterwards, the police stopped the car and both men were arrested. Lesson 34. Quick work. How long had the police taken to find his bicycle? Dan Robinson has been worried all week. Last Tuesday, he received a letter from the local police. In the letter, he was asked to call at the station. Dan wondered why he was wanted by the police, but he went to the station yesterday and now he is not worried. He's not worried anymore. At the station, he was told by a smiling policeman that his bicycle has been found. 5 days ago, the policeman told him. The bicycle was picked up in a small village 400 miles away. It is now being sent to his home by train. Dan was most surprised when he heard the news. He was amused too, because he never expected the bicycle to be found. It was stolen 20 years ago, when Dan was a boy of 15. Lesson 33. Out of the Dark Days. Why was the girl in hospital? Nearly a week passed before the girl was able to explain what happened to her. One afternoon, she set out from the coast in a small boat and was caught in a storm. Towards evening, the boat struck a rock and the girl jumped into the sea. Then she swam to the shore. After spending the whole night in the water, early next morning, she saw a light ahead. She knew she was near the shore because the light was high up on the cliffs. On arriving at the shore, she struggled up the cliff toward the light she had seen. That was all she remembered. When she woke up a day later, she found herself in hospital. Lesson 32. Shopping made easy. Who was the thief? People are not so honest that they once were. The temptation to steal is greater than ever before, especially in large shops. A detective recently watched a well-dressed woman who always went into a large store on Monday mornings. One Monday, there were fewer people in the shop than ever before than usual. When the woman came in, so it's easier for the detective to watch her. The woman first bought a few small articles. After a little time, she chose one of the most expensive dresses in the shop and handed it to an assistant, who wrapped it up for her as quickly as possible. Then the woman simply took the parcel and walked out of the shop without paying. When she was arrested, the detective found out the shop assistant was her daughter. The girl gave her mother a free dress once a week. Lesson 31. Success story. What was Frank's first job? Yesterday afternoon, Frank Hawkins was telling me his experiences as a young man. Before he retired, Frank was the head of a very large business company. But as a boy, he used to work in a small shop. It was his job to repair bicycles. And at that time, he used to work 14 hours a day. He saved money for years, and in 1958, he bought a small workshop of his own. In his 20s, Frank used to make spare parts for the airplanes. At that time, he had 2 helpers. In a few years, the small workshop had become a large factory which employed 728 people. Frank smiled when he remembered his hard early years and the long road to success. He was still smiling when the door opened and his wife came in. She wanted him to repair their Renaissance bicycle. Lesson 30. Football or polo. What happened to the man in the boat? The Wheel is a small river that cuts across the park near my home. I like sitting by the Wheel on fine afternoons. It was warm last Sunday. So I went and sat on the riverbank as usual. Some children were playing games on the bank, and there were some people rowing on the river. Suddenly, one of the children kicked the ball very hard and it went towards a waiting boat, a passing boat. Some people on the bank called out to the man in the boat, but he did not hear them. The ball struck him so hard that he nearly fell into the water. I turned to ask the children, but there weren't any inside. They had all run away. The man laughed when he realized what had happened. He called out to the children and threw the ball back to the bank. Lesson 29. Taxi. Does Captain Fawcett think any trip is too dangerous? Captain Fawcett has bought an Euro taxi and has begun a new service. The taxi is a small Swiss airplane called a Pilotsporter. This wonderful plane can carry 7 passengers. The most surprising thing about it, however, is that it can land anywhere, on snow, water, or even on a plowed field. Captain Fawcett's first passenger was a doctor who flown from Birmingham to the lowland village in the Welsh mountain. Since then, Captain Fawcett has flown passengers to many unusual places. Once, he left on the floor of blocks of flats. On another occasion, he led in a deserted car park. Captain Fawcett has just refused a strange request from a businessman. The man wanted to fly to Rockall, a lowland island in the Atlantic Ocean. But Captain Fawcett did not take him because the trip was too dangerous. Lesson 28. No parking. What is Jasper White's problem? Jasper White is one of those real people who believes in ancient myth. He has just bought a new house in the city. But ever since he moved in, he has had trouble with cars and their owners. When he returns home at night, he always finds that someone had parked a car outside his gate. Because of this, he has not been able to get his own car into his garage even once. Jasper has put up no parking signs outside his gate, but these have not had any effect. Now, he put no glazed stone head over the gate. It was one of the glazed stone faces I have ever seen. I asked him what it was, and he told me it was Medusa, the Gorgon. Jasper hopes that she will turn cars and their owners to stone, but none of them has been turned to stone yet. Lesson 27. White Night. What happened to the boys in the night? Late in the afternoon, all the boys put up their tent in the middle of the field. As soon as they were down, they cooked meal on the open fire. They cooked meal over an open fire. They were all hungry and the food smelled good. After a wonderful meal, they told stories and sang songs by the campfire. But sometime later, it began to rain. The boys felt tired, so they put out the fire and crept into their tent. Their sleeping bags were warm and comfortable, so they all slept soundly. In the middle of the night, 2 boys woke up and they began shouting. The tent was full of water. They all leapt out of their sleeping bags and hurried outside. It was raining heavily, and they found that a stream had formed in the field. The stream wound its way across the channel, across the field, and then flowed right under their tent. Lesson 26. The best art critics. Who is the student's best critic? I'm an art student and I paint a lot of pictures. Many people pretend that they understand modern art. They always tell you what a picture is about. Of course, many pictures are not about anything. They're just pretty patterns. We like them in the same way that we like pretty curtain material. I think that young children often appreciate motion pictures better than anyone else. They notice more. My sister is only 7, but she always tells me whether my pictures are good or not. She came into my room yesterday. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I'm hanging this picture on the wall," I answered. "It's a new one. Do you like it?" She looked at it critically for a moment. "It's all right," she said. "But isn't it upside down?" I looked at it again. She was right. It was. Lesson 25. Do English speak English? Why does the writer not understand the porter? I arrived in London at last. The railway station was big, black and dark. I did not know the way to my hotel, so I asked a porter. I not only spoke English very carefully, but very clearly as well. The porter, however, could not understand me. I repeated my question several times. At last, he understood. He answered me, but he spoke neither slowly nor clearly. "I am a foreigner," I said. Then he spoke slowly, but I could not understand him. My patron never spoke English like that. The porter and I looked at each other and smiled. Then he said something that I understood. You will soon learn English," he said. "I wonder, in England, each person speaks a different language. The English understand each other, but I don't understand them. Do they speak English?" Lesson 24. It could be worse. Had the writer's money been stolen? I entered the hotel manager's office and sat down. I had just lost £50 and I felt very upset. "I left the money in my room," I said, "and it's not there now." The manager was sympathetic, but he could do nothing. "Everyone is losing money these days," he said. Then he started to complain about this weaker word, but was interrupted by a knock at the door. A girl came in and put an envelope on his desk. It contained £50. I found this outside this gentleman's room," she said. "Well," I said to the manager, "there is still some honesty in this world." Lesson 23. A new house. What was the new house special? I had a letter from my sister yesterday. She lives in Nigeria. In her letter, she said that she would come to England next year. If she comes, she will get a surprise. We are now living in a beautiful new house in this country. Work on it had begun before my sister left. The house was completed 5 months ago. In my letter, I told her that she could stay with us. The house has many large rooms and there is a lovely garden. It is a very modern house, so it looks strange to some people. It must be the only modern house in the district. Lesson 22. Glass envelope. How did Jean receive a letter from a stranger? My daughter Jean never dreamed of receiving a letter from a girl of her own age in Holland. Last year, we were traveling across the channel, and Jean put a piece of paper with her name and address on it into a bottle. She threw the bottle into the sea. She never thought of it again, but 10 months later, she received a letter from a girl in Holland. Both girls write to each other regularly now. However, they have decided to use the post office. Letters will cost a little more, but they will certainly travel faster. Lesson 21. Mad or not? Why do people think the writer is mad? Airplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near the airport and passing plane can be heard night and day. The airport was built years ago, but for some reason, it could not be used then. Last year, however, it came into use. Over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I am one of the few people left. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away. But I'm determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they're probably right. Lesson 20. One man in the boat. Why is fishing the writer's favorite sport? Fishing is my favorite sport. I often fish for hours without catching anything, but this does not worry me. Some fishermen are unlucky. Instead of catching fish, they catch old boats and rubbish. I am even less lucky. I never catch anything, not even old boats. After having spent whole mornings on the river, I always go home with netted bag. You must give up fishing, my friends say. It's a waste of time. But they don't realize one important thing. I'm not really interested in fishing. I'm only interested in sitting in a boat and doing nothing at all. Lesson 19. Sold out. When will the writer see the play? The play may begin at any moment, I said. It may have begun already, so they answered. I hurried to the ticket office. May I have 2 tickets, please? I asked. I'm sorry, we've sold out, the girl said. What a pity, Susan exclaimed. Just then, a man hurried to the ticket office. Can I return these 2 tickets? He asked. Certainly, the girl said. I went back to the ticket office at once. Could I have those 2 tickets, please? I asked. Certainly, the girl said. But they are for next Wednesday's performance. Do you still want them? I might as well have them, I said sadly. Lesson 18. He often does this. What had happened to the writer's bag? After I had had lunch at a village pub, I looked for my bag. I had left it on a chair beside the door, and now it wasn't there. As I was looking for it, the landlord came in. Did you have a good meal? He asked. Yes, thank you, I answered. But I can't pay the bill. I haven't got my bag. The landlord smiled and immediately went out. In a few minutes, he returned with my bag and gave it back to me. I'm very sorry, he said. My dog had taken it into the garden. He often does this. Lesson 17. 17课. Lesson 17. Always young. Why doesn't Aunt Jennifer tell anyone how old she is? My Aunt Jennifer is an actress. She must be at least 35 years old. In spite of this, she often appears on the stage as a young girl. Jennifer will have to take part in a new play soon. This time, she will be a girl of 17. In the play, she must appear in a bright red dress and long black stockings. Last year, in another play, she had to wear short socks and a bright orange-colored dress. If anyone ever asks her how old she is, she always answers, "Darling, it must be terrible to be grown up." Lesson 16. A polite request. What was a polite request? If you park your car in the wrong place, a traffic policeman will soon find it. You will be very lucky if he lets you go without ticket. However, this does not always happen. Some traffic police are sometimes very polite. During a holiday in Sweden, I found this note on my car. Sir, we welcome you to our city. This is no parking area. You will enjoy your stay here if you pay attention to our strange size. This note is only a reminder. If you received a request like this, you cannot refuse. You cannot fail to obey it. Lesson 15. Good news. What was good news? The secretary told me that Mr. Harmsworth would see me. I felt very nervous when I went into his office. He did not look up from his desk when I entered after I had sat down. He said that business was very bad. He told me that the firm could not afford to pay such large salaries. 20 people had already left. I knew that my turn had come. Mr. Harmsworth, I said in a weak voice. Don't interrupt, he said. Then he smiled and told me I would receive an extra £1,000 a year. Lesson 14. Do you speak English? Did the young man speak English? I had an amusing experience last year. After I had left a small village in the south of France, I drove on to the next town. On the way, a young man waved to me. I stopped, and he asked me for a lift. As soon as he had got into the car, I said good morning to him in French, and he replied in the same language. Apart from a few words, I don't know any French at all. Neither of us spoke during the journey. I had nearly reached the town when the young man suddenly said very slowly, "Do you speak English?" As I soon learned, he was English himself. Lesson 13. The Greenwood Boys. Why will the police have difficult time? The Greenwood Boys were a group of pop singers. At present, they are visiting all parts of the country. They will be arriving here tomorrow. They will be coming by train, and most of the young people in the town will be meeting them at the station. Tomorrow evening, they will be singing at the Workers' Club. The Greenwood Boys will be staying for 5 days. During this time, they will give 5 performances. As usual, the police will have a difficult time. They will be trying to keep order. It is always the same on these occasions. Lesson 12. Goodbye and good luck. Where is Captain Ellison going and how? Our neighbor, Captain Charles Ellison, will set out from the Portsmouth tomorrow. We will meet him at the harbor early in the morning. He will be in his small boat, Topsail. Topsail is a famous little boat. It has sailed across the Channel many times, across the Atlantic many times. Captain Forsyth will set out at 8 o'clock, so we will have plenty of time. We will see his boat, and then we will say goodbye to him. He will take part in an important race across the Atlantic. Lesson 11. One good turn deserves another. Who paid for Tony's dinner? I was having dinner at a restaurant when Tony still came in. Tony worked in a lawyer's office years ago, but he is now working at a bank. He gets good salary, but he always borrows money from his friends and never pays it back. Tony saw me and came and sat at the same table. He has never borrowed money from me. While he was eating, I asked him to lend me 20 pounds. To my surprise, he gave me the money immediately. I have never borrowed any money from you, Tony said, so now you can pay for my dinner. Lesson 10. Not for jazz. What happened to the clavichord? We have no musical instrument. It is called clavichord. It was made in Germany in 1681. Our clavichord is kept in the living room. It has belonged to our family for a long time. The instrument was bought by my grandfather many years ago. Recently, it was damaged by a visitor. She tried to play jazz on it. She struck the keys too hard and 2 of the strings were broken. My father was shocked. Now we're not allowed to touch it. It is being repaired by a friend of my father's. Lesson 9. A cold welcome. What does the cold welcome refer to? On Wednesday evening, we went to the town hall. It was the last day of the year, and a large crowd of people had gathered under the town hall clock. It would strike 12 in 20 minutes' time. 15 minutes passed, and then at 5 to 12, the clock stopped. The big minutes had not moved. We waited and waited, but nothing happened. Suddenly, someone shouted, "It's 2 minutes past 12. The clock has stopped." I looked at my watch. It was true. At that moment, the big clock refused to welcome the new year. At that moment, everybody began to laugh and sing. Lesson 8. The best and the worst. Why is John's garden the most beautiful one in the town? John Sanders had the most beautiful garden in our town. Nearly everybody enters for the nicest garden competition each year, but John wins every time. Bill Fred's garden is larger than John's. Bill works harder than Joe and grows more flowers and vegetables, but John's garden is more interesting. He has made neat paths and has built a wooden bridge over a pool. I like gardens too, but I do not like hard work. Every year I enter for the garden competition too, and I always win a little prize for the worst garden in the town. Lesson 7. Too late. Did the detective save the Batmans? The plane was late and detectives were waiting at the airport all morning. They were expecting a valuable vessel of diamonds from South Africa. A few hours earlier, someone had told the police that thieves would try to steal the diamonds. When the plane arrived, some detectives were waiting inside the main building, while others were waiting on the airfield. 2 men took the puzzle off the plane and carried it into the customer's house, while 2 detectives were keeping guard at the door. 2 others opened the puzzle. To their surprise, the precious puzzle was full of stones and sand. Lesson 6. Percy Buttons. Who is Percy Buttons? I've just moved to a house in Bridge Street. Yesterday, a banker knocked at my door. He asked me for a meal and a glass of beer. In return for this, the banker stole on his head as he songs. I gave him a meal. He ate the food and drank the beer. Then he put a piece of cheese in his pocket and went away. Later, a neighbor told me about him. Everybody knows him. His name is Percy Buttons. He calls at every house in the street once a month, and always asks for a meal and glass of beer. Lesson 5. No wrong numbers. What does no wrong numbers mean? Mr. James Scott has garage in Silbury and now has just bought another garage in Pinehurst. Pinehurst is only 5 miles from Silbury, but Mr. Scott cannot get a telephone for his new garage, so he has just bought 12 pigeons. Yesterday, a pigeon carried the first message from Pinehurst to Silbury. The bird covered the distance in 3 minutes. Up to now, Mr. Scott has sent a great many requests for spare parts and other urgent messages from one garage to the other. In this way, he has become his own private telephone service. Lesson 4. An exciting trip. I have just received a letter from my brother Tim. He's in Australia. He has been there for 6 months. My Tim is an engineer. He's working for a big firm, and he has already visited a great number of different places in Australia. He has just bought an Australian car and has gone to Alice Springs, a small town in the center of Australia. He will soon visit Darwin. From there, he will fly to Perth. My brother has never been abroad before, so he's finding this trip very exciting. Lesson 3. Please send me a card. How many cards the writer sent? Postcards always spoil my holidays. Last summer, I went to Italy. I visited museums and sat in public gardens. A friend in winter taught me a few words of Italian. Then he lent me a book. I read a few lines, but I did not understand a word. Every day I thought about postcards. My holiday passed quickly, but I did not send cards to my friends. On the last day, I made a big decision. I got up early and bought 37 cards. I spent the whole day in my room, but I did not write a single card. Lesson 2. Breakfast or lunch. Why was the writer's aunt surprised? It was Sunday. I never get up early on Sundays. Last Sunday, I sometimes sitting on the bed until lunchtime. Last Sunday, I got up very late. I looked out of the window. It was dark outside. What a day, I thought. It's raining again. Just then, the telephone rang. It was my Aunt Lucy. I've just arrived by train, she said. I'm coming to see you. But I'm still having breakfast, I said. What are you doing? She asked. I'm having breakfast, I repeated. Dear me, she said. You always get up so late. It's 1 o'clock. Lesson 1. A private conversation. Last week, I went to the theater. I had a very good seat. The play was very interesting. I did not enjoy it. The young man and the young woman were sitting behind me. They were talking loudly. I got very angry. I could not hear the actors. I turned around and looked at the man and the woman angrily. They did not pay any attention. In the end, I could not bear it. I turned around again. I can't hear a word, I said angrily. It's none of your business, the young man said rudely. This is a private conversation. 问题是 Why did the writer complain to the people behind him? 好了，36课到第1课的背诵就到这里。我们下期见，拜拜。